Well, hello, welcome. This is Sandy at Suburban Homesteader, Wyoming, Arizona. I have not had a live stream in a very long time. Now, I have been on many live streams. In fact, every single week I've been on a live stream. But have I done a live stream? No. And so this is kind of exciting, especially when it's just the holiday season. And I am hoping that you guys can see a poll, but I don't see it on my end. So I'm not really sure if you guys can see it on your end. And so I'm trying to pull up my computer to see if I can get it to show me, but it's actually doing a commercial. So I'm not really sure if you guys can see it or if it's going to first show you that commercial before it comes in. I'm not really sure, but there is Angie. Good evening, young lady. And so today we are going to talk about Christmas traditions. Now, every family usually has a few Christmas traditions. And I thought we could probably share tonight and you would be able to maybe give some people some ideas of regular traditions that you guys might have. And Lazy Days Ahead with Jesse and Lisa are here. Hello, hello, hello. Angie's here. So I hope a whole bunch of people pop in. We will see. I don't know if I've ever done a Wednesday night live, but for a long time I did Monday night lives and I had switched it over to Tuesday, but now with Around the Hay Bale, because Casey's got a regular 9-to-5 job, we do it Tuesday nights, our radio show. And so Tuesdays was just out of the question. So I thought, well, why not try Wednesday nights? And I was over at His Way Homestead. They had a live stream I think it started at 5 o'clock. And Brian at Castle Hives popped over. He has a live stream that started at 6 o'clock. And so if you know those guys, with Castle Hives, Brian, you just flip back and forth. So family Christmas traditions. When we grew up on Christmas Eve, always we had oyster stew and chili. That was just the thing. My dad made them unless he was at the fire department because he was a fireman. And otherwise my mom or my grandmother would make them. And so it was just something that we looked forward to. And we didn't usually have oyster stew any time other than at Christmas time. Now, I don't know about you guys, and maybe you have a different type of soup or a special Christmas Eve dinner that you have. Because all families have different ideas. And so we had oyster stew and chili, and then always turkey and ham on Christmas Day. When I was older, for the most part, I did turkey on Christmas Day. A couple times I've done my prime rib, but mostly also turkey. What do you guys eat on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day? You can put it in the chats so other people might have some ideas, because maybe you have crazy things like maybe you eat tacos on Christmas. Maybe you just have soups and salads or just munchies all day long. Now, this coming week, am baking cookies. And a friend of mine today gave me bags and bags of chocolate chips, peanut butter chips, butterscotch chips, the cinnamon apple chip that I'd never seen before. And I said, well, next week I'll bring you some cookies. Now, I know Angie wants to have 7-layer bars. And so I'm going to make 7-layer bars and I'll mail them off to her next week so she can enjoy them for her holiday season. Now tell me, do any of you guys have areas in your town? Like we have what we call Camplex Park. And they decorate. You drive through the park and they have arches and they have music going. You turn to a specific radio station when you come in and it plays music all the way through. And so that's kind of fun. Tamales is a regular staple for us on Christmas. See, that I find would be tasty. I don't know if Joe would go for that. He does like his turkey for the holidays. Turkey, mashed potatoes, gravy. There's just things that he likes. Now, I stopped by the library tonight, and it was completely packed. And it wasn't really tonight. It was after school. It was probably about 4 o'clock. And all these kids are going into the library. And I thought, oh, Santa must be here. And sure enough, in their great big meeting room, Santa was there. So all the kids could get pictures taken with Santa and tell them their Christmas wishes. It was extremely cute. A lot of times when we were growing up, we would get advent calendars. You know, they're the little chocolate ones. You open the door each day, you get a piece of chocolate. And so that's kind of a fun thing. But this year, because I had fond memories of that, I found it's called Advent Stationery. I sent it to my mom for her Christmas present. And I told her, this is a package you need to open right away. And she goes, why? And I said, you will understand when you open it. So every day it comes in this box, and every day for 24 days, she pulls out this little thing. It looks like a book that she's pulling out. And some of it has stationery. It has pens in it. It has all these different things that are stationary, but it's called an Advent Stationery box. Oh, Cheryl's here. Good evening. Hello. How are ya? Cheryl, we're talking about Christmas traditions. And I was just telling everybody that I bought my mom this Advent Stationery. They have them on Amazon. I'm sure they have them a lot of places. Actually, I first saw it on Facebook ad. But if you ordered from them, my mom wouldn't have got it until in January. So I thought, well, maybe Amazon has them. Sure enough, they did. And Amazon just shipped it to her. It was less expensive than on the Facebook post. And I didn't have to pay shipping. So that was perfect. Now, it used to be that for holiday seasons, everybody sent out cards. Now I see that less and less now. Do you guys send out cards? I think that it's very nice. I have a box of cards I'm going to work on this week to send out cards. And I have received one card so far, actually from Anne from Little Frenchie in Big Texas. Little Frenchie in Big Texas. Her and Jake and the girls signed the card. It was very sweet. But that was my very first card I got so far this year. And we used to, when we were little, we always cut the tree down. Now, what about you guys? Do you have an artificial tree? Do you go to a Christmas tree lot? Do you go up and cut down a Christmas tree? Always when we were growing up, we cut down a Christmas tree. But it was really fun. We would bring sleds. My mom would bring hot chocolate and sandwiches to eat. And we would go up in the Black Hills and we would trek around until we found the perfect tree. Now, sometimes that perfect tree was way too big. And my dad would go, no, we're not cutting that tree down. Sometimes we wanted little tiny ones. And my dad's going, no, we're not having that tree either. But it is fun. Oh, thank you, Jessie. This is the Christmas Stationery Advent Calendar for stationery lovers. It is so wonderful, actually. And when you go and find it on this Amazon link, it's real interesting because they have some videos if you want to see what it's about. And so thank you, Jessie, for that, because that is a fun thing. When you don't really know what to do, what to give. My mom is 84 now. And what do you get a woman that basically has anything she wants? She's had a lifetime of getting gifts. And when I saw that, I thought, what a perfect gift for my mom. And so I'll ask her next time I talk to her how she likes it so far. Now, other things that I like to do. I like to set up a little nativity scene. I like to decorate my Christmas tree. I like to hang up paintings and photographs of Christmas things. I like the Christmas lights outside. Christmas can be a lot of work. And maybe you guys have noticed that it's a lot of work, or sometimes it's just part of the joy. Now, the Blands, Monica and Eric and her husband, they have 8 kids. And every single year, she told me this, that they have always, in November, picked out the Christmas movies they're gonna watch. And so they pre-decide which kind of Christmas movies they want, and they watch them as a family. And I think that is a fabulous thing to do. You know, you got cookies, you got popcorn, you're watching the movies together. You are making memories, and I love that. Now, I like to make Christmas ornaments. Like, here's a box of ornaments that I made. Now, you could use glass or plastic. And the ornaments, actually, I put glitter inside. It's really easy to do. And the lights on your Christmas tree bounce back and forth on them. And I thought, I think I'll give some Christmas ornaments away tonight. You know, why not? And so I thought I'd give some of those away tonight. I do make glass ornaments. Like, this is a very funky, bumpy star. It's made out of fused glass. And you don't fire it all the way, so it leaves that texture in there, but the lights bounce back and forth. So I thought, that's a fun one. And these are fun ones that I made. It's made with a piece of glass and a decal. And they are a little heavy, so you do have to have a good tree. Otherwise, they would fall off, and they're glass, so they would break. So now, the glitter ones, they're actually glass, the ones that I made too. I had made a bunch of big ones that I put in a show. And these smaller ones I found, they're actually antique glass, clear glass ornaments. And I didn't want just clear glass. And so I put glitter in each of them, because who doesn't have glitter? Someplace in their house, in some drawer or box, you probably have some glitter. So, now, fun things that people do. Have you guys ever done Elf on the Shelf? Now, I did not do that. I don't think they had that when I was little at all. In fact, I'm not sure they had that when my kids were little. I don't know really the date that they started doing Elf on the Shelf, but my youngest daughter is doing Elf on the Shelf with her 2 little girls. The other morning, she forgot to move Elf on the Shelf, because every single day she moves and does some kind of weird, funny little thing with Elf on the Shelf. And so the girls got up, and Nisa says, is Elf on the Shelf mad at me? They're still the same place. They didn't move this morning. And she says, I failed already. We've only been doing Elf on the Shelf a few days, and I forgot to move him. Cheryl says, I put in my Christmas tree painting from you. Oh, yay. I painted a new snowman this year with Mary, the gal that I paint with a couple times a week. And today we started a different snowman. And so I'll show you guys when I get the other one done, both of them. I like them. They're fun. And Mary is a retired teacher. And so we have been painting together a couple times a week for a very long time. I think probably 5 years. And she used to come in when I had my little shop, and she would paint with me too. So it has been great fun painting with her this year. And she is getting better all the time. Now, a lot of people will go to church on Christmas. A lot of them will have a midnight mass or early morning mass, or a service. When we were growing up, we grew up in a Lutheran church, and they had this program on Christmas Eve, and the kids were all part of it, and it had the nativity scene. And if you weren't actually in that part of it, you had to memorize different scriptures. You know, I can't remember if we were going through, we used Matthew or Luke. I'm not really sure which Christmas story because it was a very long time ago. But every time I start hearing those verses, I remember because when we were little, we had to memorize those. So, and then they would sing Christmas songs, and that was a lovely thing to do on a Christmas Eve. Um, most towns anymore, for a tradition, have a parade of lights, and it's a Christmas parade. We had ours the other day, and they have floats, and there's always a theme, and you have lots of lights, and that's always fun. Another fun thing to do, if your town does it, is it's called a parade of homes. And there's usually 5 to 7 homes. You buy a ticket and you go from house to house throughout town. And these houses are decorated to the nines. I mean, seriously, some major amounts of money have been put into these houses. But it's lovely. And usually get cookies or snacks or drinks when you're going through their homes. And it's very nice that they open up their homes. And you get to see houses that you just wish that you could go look through their house. And usually almost every single room is decorated with Christmas trees and lights and candles and nativity scenes. And it's a lovely tradition to do. And so a lot of people will do that. Sometimes public buildings will set up, I guess they call them Christmas villages or Santa villages. And that's kind of fun to go through. Our courthouse, for years and years and years, I mean like 20 or 30 years, a lady, I don't know if her husband helped her or not, but I know a lady did. And they have this glass enclosement, and there is just Christmas everywhere, little tiny houses and big houses and trees and ice skating rinks and just all kinds of stuff. So every time you went into the courthouse during December, you could see that, and it was lovely. So there's probably things that you guys do in your town that you could type in and say, oh, we did this, or we do this every time. Now, one of the funnest things when I was growing up, that my parents, my grandparents, my aunts and uncles, they had this, it was a cinnamon roll. It was really big, and it was completely hard as a rock. And it went from person to person to person. And so every year somebody else got it. They would wrap them just immaculately. You would never know that was what was going to be in this box. And so people would gently open up this beautiful package to find this dried out cinnamon roll. It was just a silly thing that we did for my family. And the kids never got it. But I remember when I must have been 18 or 19 years old. And I got it for the very first time. It was so exciting, which is totally silly, but it was just great fun. Oh, Nancy, hello. She says, we used to bake together, girls and boys alike, mostly cookies, but my brother developed a chocolate chip cookie that was mostly a good excuse to eat walnuts and chocolate chips. That is fabulous. Now, my grandmother Stevens, she was a baker. Oh my gosh. So, Nancy, you're reminding me of this. And she and my Aunt Grace loved to make all kinds of cookies and candies. Like they had a recipe for, it tasted exactly like a Mounds bar. If they put almonds, it tasted like an Almond Joy. They always did that. They did chocolate covered cherries. They had all these certain kind of cookies. My Aunt Grace always made these mincemeat cookies, which I'm not really a big fan of mincemeat, but these cookies were just to die for. They were so good. She made her own mincemeat, and it was just fabulous. Now, Christy says, hello, Christy Bates. Growing up, one of the department stores had a big walk-through Christmas display. I remember loving the automated polar bears. How fun is that? You know, you see the pictures of the great big cities and like Macy's stores in New York City, and they have all these mechanical things that are happening. Just so fabulous, kind of magical. So I like those Christmas traditions that people do. Now, we always had mistletoe when we were growing up. At our house, it was usually when you walked into the kitchen, and it hung from the ceiling. And so when my dad would go into the kitchen to help my mom, all of us kids, it was like, oh my gosh, you're under the mistletoe. Once in a while, it was in the living room, but mostly it was when you went into the kitchen. And so that was a fun Christmas tradition that I thought was very cute. Now, nowadays, a lot of people don't have as many kids, or the kids grow up and they go someplace else. And so they only have their pets. My friend Mary, that I paint with, she bought the cutest little clothes for her puppy dogs. She has 2 little dogs. And so she showed them to me today. They were adorable. But they have little things to put on dogs' heads that look like reindeer antlers. They have all kinds of silly, fun things that you can do. Certain places do polar plunges. Have you ever done one of those? Not me. I liked watching the videos when the people jump into the cold water. I don't know if I'd like to do that, though. Would you guys? Would you guys jump in a cold lake? I mean, they raise money for things, and so that is fun. A lot of times they're raising money for a hospital or a project, and so that's kind of fun, and I do like that idea of it. But I just don't really want to jump in the cold water. So, it's things to decide to do. Now, when we were little, we always went caroling. Now, I would not say that I am a great singer, but when we were little, we went around. Sometimes people would, when they opened the door, they gave you cookies or hot chocolate. And I think it was our Girl Scout group, or maybe the Girl Scouts and the Boy Scouts went together. And that was always fun. Some church groups go and they sing songs, and I like that. Jesse, Jesse, Jesse. Christy says that we just had fake mistletoe because it's poisonous. I'm sure ours was fake too, because we didn't buy it each year. So I'm sure it was just plastic and it looked like mistletoe. So yeah, do be careful that certain things they are poisonous. Like poinsettias, you have to keep them up, because if your dogs or your cats want to eat, it is not good for your dogs or cats to eat a poinsettia. But I do love having a poinsettia. I love growing my amaryllis. My white amaryllis has just finished flowering. I think I ended up having 7 flowers on there. I thought I was going to have more, but a couple of them did not open. But that was great fun. Christy says, no way she's going to jump into the lake. But she loves caroling. See, and I love Christmas songs. It's funny how as soon as the music starts, you remember the words, which is interesting to me, because I couldn't just sing them just trying to think about them. But if I hear the music, then all of a sudden those words start flowing back. And that's an interesting thing, the way your brain works like that. Now, we always went ice skating. There was part of Rapid Creek, because we lived in Rapid City when we were growing up. And in high school, there was part of the creek that was over by Jackson Boulevard, and it would freeze solid. And we would go skating on that. One of the parks, they would flood, and you could go skating there. And one of the areas that was a tennis court in the summertime, the way they had built it, it had edges, and they would flood that, and we could go ice skating. And so that was great fun. Now, some countries, they don't give gifts at Christmas. Like Scandinavian countries exchange books. And sometimes people will get a box of books, everyone's wrapped, and on the outside it says January, February, March, April, May. So you're getting this gift of books that you get to read a book every single month. I think that is a fabulous tradition to have. I love giving books. When we were growing up, my aunt, which was kind of like a grandmother, my grandmother had lived with her when she was growing up because her parents had died with the Spanish flu. And so my Aunt Grace and my grandmother were more like sisters instead of cousins. And so my Aunt Grace was kind of like a Grandma Grace. She always gave socks. And as a young person, I complained about those socks. But of all the presents when I was growing up at Christmas time, I remember those socks. And I think it was not last year, the year before, maybe it was last year, I gave all the kids socks. And I remember Tori sending me a message, I love the socks. So I think I might send out some socks this year again with other stuff because it is fun. Have you guys ever just driven around your neighborhood, around your town to see all the lights? Our town has contests. And so you can win an award, a prize for the best decorated or the funniest, or they have different categories. And so that's kind of nice. Chrissy says, my little sister with Down syndrome was on a church bus to go caroling. Pastor asked her what she wanted, and she said, sexy black underwear. They still talk about it today. That is awesome. I love it when kids say exactly what they want. It doesn't really matter if it's embarrassing or not. That you're asking me, I'm telling you what I want. That is awesome. My grandmother Riker, she lived on a farm. We got, I think it was $1 at Christmas and $2 on our birthday. Or it was the other way around. Can't remember now. But we'd get a card. All of us kids would get our own card. And it would have the money in there. And I mean, she lived on a farm, and I honestly love that. I love that she had lots of grandchildren, and that's what she did for all the grandchildren and great-grandchildren. Everybody got a card, and she wrote in it, and then we had our dollars in there. And I thought that's a fun thing to do. Now, as a family tradition, did you leave cookies and milk for Santa? Some people do, some people don't. I think it's kind of fun, especially if you get up in the night and drink the milk and eat some of the cookies, and the kids are excited about it. But there's just so many things. Like some people will every single year will go to the Nutcracker. Every single year they watch A Christmas Carol. I like those old cartoons that were claymation, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Frosty the Snowman, Jack Frost. I like those old ones. I think they were it was probably the 70s when they made those. And those are things that you can still watch today. But I like how the whole complicated thing of moving those claymation characters, I love that. Oh, and Chrissy, they put out carrots for the reindeer. That is a fun tradition. Down in Yuma, there's one of the big churches. And I think it's open for 2 weekends. And in their basement, they have nativity sets. Oh, easily 200 or more different types. And you go in there, it's a fundraiser. You bring a can of canned good, whatever. And you get to go through and you get to see all these different nativity sets from around the world that people have donated. And it is just a fabulous thing to go through. I mean, seriously, I am just amazed at the colors and the different types. And they have a little gift shop, and you can have hot cocoa and apple cider. And it is just a fun thing. And I have gone with my mom and her friend Julie. Well, this is the first year in 5 years that I haven't gone with them because we're still in Wyoming. We're not in Arizona right now. And so that I missed not doing it because nobody in my town here in Wyoming does that. No churches do that. But it is a beautiful thing to do. Angie says she watches Die Hard every Christmas. I like that movie. I like that Christmas movie. And some people say it's not really a Christmas movie, but it is at Christmas time. I like it. Christy loves movies too. Oh, those are the ones we were talking about. Oh, yeah. Now, do you guys make homemade Christmas presents? Some people do, some people don't. I like making homemade Christmas presents. I like painting paintings for people. I like doing ornaments for people. I think when we were little, we made snowflakes out of paper, and then we added glitter to them, and we had pipe cleaners, and we made these little Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeers with pipe cleaners. And we had those, they pop. Are they called crackers? They're like this tube, and they have paper wrapped around them, and you pop them, and sometimes things fly out of them. Sometimes they just have candy in them. Oh, Jesse likes It's a Wonderful Life, White Christmas, and Fiddler on the Roof. I love all three of those movies. If I Was a Rich Man. Oh, I love that movie. Don't even get me started. I do. I love it. Now, one of my friends, they have 8 children. And every single year since the first one was born, she has made matching pajamas. And then a lot of times their Christmas card has all the kids and them, the couple, as a photograph on a Christmas card. It is so much fun, and it is a lot of work because they have 8 children now. But every single year, she is making flannel pajamas for every single person, and they all match. And I think that is a fabulous, fabulous thing to do. Now, look at, I have been just jabbering away about Christmas traditions. And I'm not really sure why I had a poll. I'm not really sure why I can't see that. So I can't tell you the results of the poll because I tried to pull it up on my phone too, but I couldn't see it. But that's just the way it is, you know? So I tried. So if you could see that and you could answer the poll, that will be great. I'll put a post up on what everybody said with the poll. Christy says, I have before canned goods, made bath salts, cosmetic type stuff for grandgirls. I think that's great because people love getting homemade things. Now, I suppose there's some people that don't like it. It's like, oh, grandma's making me something else. But I like to do it. And I kind of think if you don't like it, you can give it as a white elephant next year to somebody else. But I'm going to let you guys go. It's 33 minutes, and I like to do a half hour. And that was fast. I mean, seriously fast. Oh, there's Nancy. Hey, Nancy. Nancy at Our Treasured Home. Nancy, we've been talking for a half hour on Christmas traditions. Oh, Christy gets, my kids got new pajamas Christmas Eve for Christmas pictures in the morning. Fun, fun, fun. But I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you so much. And next week, I'm actually going to give you some hints. It's only 1 week before Christmas. Some hints, some easy things, and some ways not to stress out because it's only 1 week before Christmas. Everybody have a great, great time. Oh, Nancy says, riding around looking at Christmas lights. Yep. It's so much fun. Everybody have a great night. I will see you next time. And thanks for stopping in. Bye.